Following the ego or following the soul? With so many people telling you night and day to destroy your ego, the answer seems obvious, but it is not. Following the ego or following the soul is not a choice you can make. Much to the contrary, the soul will choose that for you and impose its decision. I'm Cavalier. Following the ego or the soul is not a choice at all. They are stages of the human development called third dimension and fourth dimension. The human development has natural stages. That's what happens biologically. We are born children, develop into teenagers, then into adults, then into elders, and finally we die. We can't change the order of the stages. The same thing happens psychologically and spiritually. Human beings must go through the third dimension, then the fourth, then the fifth, and so on. Imagining that you can choose whatever you want, whenever you want, is but a fantasy of proud egos who believe in their alleged unlimited power. But why are you forced to live in the third dimension? Well, let's see. The goal of the 3D is the construction of a strong ego that will be necessary throughout the entirety of the psychological and spiritual development, no matter which dimension you are. Jungian psychology teaches that ego and consciousness are one and the same thing. So, having a strong ego is identical to have a strong consciousness. In order to have a strong ego, you must have a strong and well-defined personality, as well as success in at least one area of your life, should that be family, love, career, spirituality, or any other. Having an ego is to have consciousness, personality, and success. Are you sure you want to destroy your ego? How would you do a psychological and a spiritual development without consciousness, personality, or success? Having an ego is not a matter of choice. Being in 3D is not a matter of choice. The same way being a child and not being a teenager is not a matter of choice. 3D people must develop their egos and will never go beyond 3D until they complete the construction of their strong egos. You must complete each phase of the game, you know? 3D people do not follow their souls. But that is not about ignorance or the lack of goodwill or choice. It is not possible to follow the soul in 3D because the soul simply does not reveal itself. The soul doesn't want it. The soul doesn't manifest itself in 3D because its goal is that you build your strong ego instead of paying attention to the soul's manifestation. Someone without an ego is not interesting for the soul because they are too weak and too unconscious to go on with the difficult and steep development process of the fourth dimension. Entering the fourth dimension is also not a choice. The same way you can't hold on to childhood when adolescence is at the door. When someone completes the construction of a strong ego, the soul reveals itself for the first time. This is the moment Carl Jung called moral defeat in his Jungian psychology. The soul reveals itself because the soul wants, not because you want. There is nothing you can do to make the soul show up. It is not your choice to make. The soul is not a pink fairy that will solve all of your problems. When the soul reveals itself, it forces you to look at it. If you look at what the soul is showing to you, good for you. If you don't, the soul will push you and cause you non-stop pain until you finally look at what it is showing. Again, it is not your choice to make. After all, is the soul a transcendental and divine power, or something you would be able to manipulate with your human will? Do you know the main reason why you do not get to choose whether to follow the soul or not? It's a very simple one. Obviously, the soul is bigger than you. It knows infinitely more than you and me. Therefore, the soul is going to teach you things you do not yet know, that are unconscious for you. Following the soul is learning to do things you don't yet know. How could you choose to do or want to do something you do not know, don't know the name, never heard of, and has not the slightest idea of what it is? The decision is made by those who know things. The decision is always the soul's to make. The first movement is always made by the soul. Well, not exactly. The soul always makes the first move until the end of the fourth dimension. When you complete the fourth dimension, the spirit will forcefully move you into the fifth dimension. Once more, the decision is not yours to make. In fact, that will happen against your will. Trust me. But when you finally reach 5D, the paradigm shifts, and the first movement will be mandatory